I worked my whole life to make sure my sister never wanted for anything, but when she organized her perfect wedding, she called me a disgrace with dirty hands and left me out. She said she needed classy people. When everything fell apart, I was already on vacation, ignoring my mother's pleas. "Stop being so selfish, son, it's just a wedding." I'm a 29-year-old man who works as a welder in Colorado. I earn around $85,000 a year, which allows me to live comfortably. I'm not a millionaire, but I have my truck paid off, a nice apartment, and I've learned to manage my money wisely since I was young. My sister, Elena, is 26 and has always been treated like the jewel of the family. Our father abandoned us when I was 12 and she was 9, so we grew up with our mother, Claudia, and the responsibility fell entirely on me. While my mother could barely afford food, I went out to deliver newspapers and offer to run errands around the neighborhood. When Elena needed new clothes because she couldn't wear the same ones as the year before, there I was, working construction after school to cover her whims. When Mom's car kept breaking down, I learned mechanics so we wouldn't have to pay a professional. Since then, I've been the breadwinner. Elena, for her part, never had a real job. Never, not even a summer job. Since adolescence, she'd been obsessed with becoming an influencer. She has about 3,000 followers on social media, mostly men, and calls herself a lifestyle creator, although in reality she's been living off wealthy men since she turned 18. My mother not only allows it, she encourages it. According to her, Elena is beautiful, has a future, and shouldn't stoop to physical labor like mine. Yes, she said that exactly on several occasions. So for over a decade I've been her ATM. If Elena needs to pay the rent, I'm there. If Mom has an overdue bill, I cover it. A $2,000 content creation course? I'll pay for it, of course. And even though they don't acknowledge it, I keep a mental tally of everything they owe me. Between rent, medical expenses, car repairs, impulse buys, and suspicious emergencies that always coincide with my sister's cravings, the total is around $8,000. Have I gotten anything back? Of course not, and if I ever mention it, I'm labeled as bitter. Last year, Elena started dating a 34-year-old guy named Tomas, who works at a tech startup in Denver. He drives a Tesla and lives in a luxury apartment downtown. Exactly the kind of life my sister idealizes. 3 months into the relationship, her social media posts completely transformed. Designer handbags, lavish dinners, getaways to Aspen, all meticulously documented. Phrases like, "finally someone who values what I deserve," or "quality over quantity," started appearing in every photo. Meanwhile, I kept receiving messages from her asking for financial help to pay for her phone, an outrageously expensive face cream, or any other whim that, according to her, was vital for her personal brand. The most ironic thing is that, as soon as she moved in with Tomas, they'd only been dating for 6 months, she started treating us like we were inferior. She said she needed to surround herself with successful people and leave negativity behind. She stopped calling me, except when she needed something. She started posting motivational quotes about distancing yourself from toxic people and protecting your energy. I would bring Tomas to family dinners, and he always seemed uncomfortable, as if being in our small apartment was a waste of time. Dressed in expensive shirts, he would talk endlessly about his company and his investments. I, exhausted after a 10-hour workday, would endure my sister's comments about my clothes and my language, and still I kept quiet. Because, in the end, one always tries to keep the peace. I was always the one who turned the other cheek. 8 months later, Tomas proposed to her. The ring must have cost more than my truck. He posted dozens of photos with captions like, "He went to Tiffany, not Jarrett," and bragged about his engagement like it was some kind of business success. The party was at an exclusive country club, and I wasn't invited. I found out through her social media stories, where she showed all of Tomas's successful friends talking about investments while classical music played in the background. 3 weeks ago, during my lunch break at work, while I was eating in my truck, I received a message from her. "Hey, little brother. I just wanted to let you know that we've finalized the guest list for the wedding. We had to make some tough decisions because the venue is small and we want it to be intimate and elegant. I hope you understand. I love you very much. I had to read it 5 times to process it. Difficult decisions. Limited space. I showed the message to my colleague Luis, who was having lunch with me. "Don't tell me your sister uninvited you to her wedding by text message," he said incredulously. At first I thought it was a mistake, that she'd sent it to the wrong person. But deep down, I knew. For months she'd felt him slipping away. Comments about how demanding Tomas's family was about appearances, how she wanted to offer a flawless experience, and how ashamed she was that her brother was a laborer. Apparently, for Princess Helena, being a skilled worker who truly contributes to society wasn't enough for her lavish wedding. As soon as I found out, I tried calling her, but as expected, it went straight to voicemail. Typical of her, drop a bombshell and disappear to avoid the consequences. So I decided to call my mother, Claudia. Perhaps she could explain what was happening. "Hi, darling," she replied in that fake tone, too cheerful to be genuine. "Did you know Helena hasn't invited me to her wedding?" I asked bluntly. There was a pause. One of those that says it all. That brief delay was enough for her to understand that she did know. They'd already talked it over. They'd made the decision to leave me out, and somehow, they both thought it was the right thing to do. "Oh, honey," she said in that condescending tone she uses whenever she's trying to make me think I'm exaggerating. "You know how expensive weddings are these days." They had to make some tough decisions about the guest list. "Mom," I said, trying to stay calm, "I'm her brother. How can it be a difficult decision?" "Well, you have to understand that Tomas's family is very distinguished. They want everything to have a certain level of sophistication, a special atmosphere for his big day. And you know how you get sometimes." There I was. According to them, I wasn't refined enough. I wasn't appropriate for the atmosphere they were looking for. How do I react? I asked, already irritated. "What do you mean? Do you remember that dinner for my birthday, when you argued with Tomas's aunt about politics?" Elena felt very embarrassed. "And you know how you are when you drink." Of course I remembered. A classist woman talking about how the workers are the problem of the country. And I simply responded respectfully. I defended my profession, without raising my voice. Was that unacceptable now? "Mom, I had 2 beers in 4 hours and I spoke politely." How can that be shameful? It's not about being right or wrong, son. It's to maintain a calm, elegant atmosphere. Let me see if I understand correctly. I said, feeling my pulse quicken. Am I not invited to my sister's wedding because I'm not elegant enough? It's not that. It's just that the venue is small and they're trying to cut costs. Mom, I just saw a post on Elena's Instagram yesterday where she was showing off the place. 200 guests. How can that be considered small? Silence. And another thing, go on. How are they cutting costs when Elena is showing off her $3,000 dress, the bachelorette party in Miami paid for by Tomas, and the custom flowers they're bringing from California? More silence. Mom, I've been financially supporting this family for over 10 years. I've paid Elena's rent countless times. I've helped you with your bills, fixed your cars, been there for you through every crisis. And yet, I'm not worthy of seeing my sister get married? There's no need to talk about money. Why don't we talk about it? Do you know how much Elena owes me, Mom? Do you even know? I have no idea. $8,000. $8,000 he's never even tried to pay me back. But of course, I'm not distinguished enough to attend his wedding to a rich kid who's had it easy. You're exaggerating. It's just one day. Exactly, Mom. Just one day. One day when my own family decided I wasn't good enough. And then I made up my mind. You're right. It's just one day. So don't worry. I'll make other plans. What other plans? It doesn't matter. I'm sure you and Elena will enjoy yourselves with all those refined people. I hope you have good weather. And I hung up. But this time it wasn't just anger. This time I was determined. I ended that call. I sat in my truck for the rest of lunch, processing everything. For over 10 years I was the financial and emotional support of those two women. And yet, they considered me an embarrassment. Well, if they wanted to know what life was like without me, I wasn't going to deny them the satisfaction. I spent the rest of the day thinking about it. And when I got home, I already had a plan. An expensive one, small, but perfectly calculated. I went to the bank to check my savings. I'd been spending very little for years, hoping to save enough for a down payment on a house. The balance, $47,000. Not bad for a rather unrefined fellow like me. That's when the idea started to take shape. Elena was getting married in 3 weeks, on a Saturday. I had plenty of vacation time saved up. And honestly, I couldn't even remember the last time I did something just for myself. I started looking for options. Not just any getaway. I wanted something big. One of those places rich people go to show off on social media. Places Elena and Tomas would go on their honeymoon. Places where one night costs more than my entire monthly budget. One in particular had been catching my eye for a while. A resort in Costa Rica. Adults only. All-inclusive. Private villas with infinity pools, butler service, world-class cuisine, a world-class spa, and access to an exclusive beach. The kind of place celebrities go when they want to disappear from the world. And to my surprise, someone had just cancelled for the same weekend. Destiny? Irony? Perhaps. All she knew was that she was going to enjoy every penny of that trip. $12,000. That was the exact figure. More than months. It was, without a doubt, more than I had ever invested in myself. But if anyone thought that was a waste, I had a different perspective. Over the years, I had spent far more supporting a family that never appreciated my efforts. That money didn't fall from the sky. I earned it working over 50 hours a week, regardless of the heat, the cold, or the rain. Welding structural steel for buildings that will stand for decades. Every penny in that account represented sacrifice, dedication, and honest work. So if my family thought I wasn't refined enough to be a part of their lives, then I was going to show them just how sophisticated I could be when I put my mind to it. I booked the trip for the exact same weekend as Helena's wedding. Not a week before, not a few days after. That same weekend. If their message was to exclude me, mine was going to be just as clear. But I didn't stop there. She still had access to family chats and shared social media accounts. She knew the exact time of the wedding, ceremony at 6, dinner at 7, cake cutting at 8:30. By that last hour, I already had special plans. And the best part was that no one knew where I was going. They would find out when they saw my post from Paradise. That morning, while Helena was probably in some salon getting ready for her big day, I was at Denver International Airport, checking in for a first-class flight to San Jose, Costa Rica. I had never traveled anything but economy before. But this time, I had earned it. Years of effort, sacrifice, and unconditional support for people who never knew how to appreciate it. Instead of being stuck in a reception area, I was enjoying freshly brewed coffee in the VIP lounge, an impeccable breakfast buffet, and a panoramic view of the planes taking off. An hour before the flight, I posted a photo on Instagram. My boarding pass, with the confirmation number carefully covered, I'm not naive. The caption read, "Some people think I'm not sophisticated enough for certain events. Thank goodness there are other ways to spend a Saturday. Self-care pad, value yourself." The reactions came quickly. Coworkers commented things like, "Where are you going?" or "Good job, bro." Even my cousin Daniel, one of the few I get along with, wrote, "This is going to get good." But the comments I was really waiting for came about 20 minutes later. "Where are you? Helena's getting married in 6 hours. This isn't funny anymore, call me." I didn't answer. I was too busy stretching my legs in first class, savoring the appetizers that far surpassed the dishes in many restaurants. Upon landing in Costa Rica, I was greeted by a driver in an immaculate white uniform, holding a sign with my name on it. He drove me to a black Mercedes SV with leather seats that cost more than my entire car. The drive to the resort was like something out of a movie: coastal roads, rainforests, distant mountains, and the Pacific Ocean on one side. The driver, who spoke perfect English, told me all about what the place had to offer: deep-sea fishing, surfing lessons, helicopter tours, zip-lining through the jungle. And when we arrived, I realized I wasn't exaggerating. The resort's entrance was an open lobby with marble floors, exotic vegetation, and a waterfall on one of the walls. I was greeted with cool towels and fruit juices. But nothing prepared me for what I saw when I entered my private villa. It was bigger than my apartment. An infinity pool overlooking the ocean, an outdoor shower surrounded by plants, a king-size bed with Egyptian cotton sheets, a living room with a 60-inch television, and a small kitchen stocked with gourmet snacks. My personal butler, Carlos, introduced himself with a smile. He spoke 3 languages and had worked in luxury hotels for over 20 years. "Would you like anything to settle in?" he asked. I looked at him from the terrace overlooking the sea and replied, "My sister is getting married today. I wasn't invited because, supposedly, I'm not sophisticated enough." "Well then, Carlos, let's celebrate." Carlos smiled as if he'd waited his whole life to hear that. 20 minutes later he returned with a tray that looked like it had come straight out of a cooking show. Fresh ceviche, exotic fruits I couldn't even name, artisanal chocolates, and freshly baked bread. "This is just the beginning," he said. "Wait until you see what the chef has in store for dinner." By then it was already 5 o'clock in my city. Helena's wedding was an hour away from starting. I placed my phone in front of the pool and prepared myself for the crucial moment. At 6 in Colorado, 8 in Costa Rica, I started a live broadcast on Instagram. The sun was setting over the ocean, painting the sky with indescribable hues. I was floating in the infinity pool with that dreamlike backdrop. "Hi everyone," I said, focusing the camera on my view. "Today's my sister's wedding. But it turns out I'm not sophisticated enough. Apparently, a certain atmosphere was required, period." The views immediately increased. 20, 50, 100 viewers. More than I'd ever had. I could have stayed home wallowing in self-pity. I would have continued, but I chose instead to show you what true sophistication is. Welcome to one of Costa Rica's most exclusive resorts. The comments exploded. "Where are you? This looks amazing. Your sister's missing out." And the best part was, I saw that my mother, Claudia, and Helena had joined the broadcast, then left it, then rejoined. Probably in a state of panic. That's when Carlos appeared, accompanied by a group of waiters. They brought what looked like food for a party of 10. Enormous lobster tails, perfectly seared steaks, truffle risotto, roasted vegetables that looked like they'd been sculpted, and desserts worthy of a gallery. "This, my friends," I said, holding up a piece of lobster, "is what you call sophistication. Fish this morning, prepared by a chef trained in Paris. Not exactly what you'd find at a fast food chain." The number of spectators kept climbing: 200, 300, 400. The messages were a torrent of support and amazement. "This is amazing. Your sister is missing out. This dinner surpasses any wedding." And the best was yet to come. But my plan didn't end there. At precisely 8:30 p.m. Colorado time, the exact moment Helena would have been cutting her wedding cake, I asked Carlos to reveal the real surprise. At the resort where I was staying, there was an acoustic guitar duo that regularly played for guests, and I had requested a special performance by the pool. These musicians arrived with their classical guitars and began playing Spanish melodies that were simply sublime. I walked toward the camera with a smile as the music played behind me. This is how you celebrate when you know your worth. Here's to everyone who was ever treated like they weren't enough. The live stream already had over 500 viewers. The comments were coming in so fast I couldn't read them all. People were sharing the video, tagging friends, and praising the music. But the best part was seeing Helena rejoin the stream. She watched for almost 10 minutes while I dined like a king and enjoyed the music in a truly idyllic setting. I ended the broadcast by raising a glass of sparkling cider to the camera, with the guitarists playing in the background. Remember, family isn't always about blood. It's about respect. Sometimes, those who should value you the most are the ones who value you the least. Don't let anyone convince you that you're not good enough. See you soon, beautiful people. When the live stream ended, I gave the musicians $200 cash as a tip and thanked them for their amazing performance. Then I checked my phone. I had 73 missed calls. 73. And the messages were intense. I spent the next hour ignoring my phone while enjoying the best dinner of my life, watching the sunset over the Pacific. Carlos had organized a private dinner on the beach, with candles and everything. It literally looked like something out of a movie. But curiosity eventually got the better of me. I started reading the messages to see what kind of chaos my home broadcast had unleashed. The first one was from Danny. "Bro, call me. You just broke the internet, and I think you broke Helena too." Then, one from my mother, "Call me right now. Helena is having a breakdown." And another from Helena, "Please answer. Everything is ruined." But what really caught my attention were the messages from those who were at the wedding. Danny wrote, "Tomas saw your live stream in the middle of the reception and started asking why you weren't there." And my cousin Sarah added, "Tomas's parents are furious. They didn't know Helena had left her own brother out." Then another one from Danny, "Tomas and Helena are arguing. Things are getting ugly. I decided to call him directly. He was the only one I trusted who would tell me the truth without trying to make me feel guilty." She answered right away. "You need to hear this. Your broadcast caused a scandal at Helena's wedding." "How so?" I asked. "Well, during the reception, Tomas's father was talking to some guests about family values, how important it is to stay united, all that. Then someone mentioned that they saw your live stream and asked where you were. Tomas's father didn't even know you hadn't been invited." "Really?" "Yes. So he asked Helena about you, thinking maybe you were sick or something. But she tenses up and tries to change the subject. That's when Tomas's mother starts pressuring her. Finally, Helena admits that she didn't invite you because the guest list was already too long. Tomas's father doesn't understand anything. He says, you didn't invite your own brother. And Helena tries to justify it by saying she wanted to keep it intimate and elegant, but then someone shows her the live stream. I smiled so hard my cheeks hurt. Tomas's father watched the whole broadcast at the reception. He saw you on the beach, with the musicians, the incredible atmosphere, and said, this is the brother you said wasn't sophisticated enough. Helena starts to get defensive. And then what happened? Tomas goes over to see what's going on. His father shows him the transmission and Tomas starts asking Helena why she said that about you. She finally confessed that she was worried you'd give a bad impression because you work with your hands. I remained silent. It turns out Tomas comes from a working-class family. His father was a plumber before starting his own business. Tomas had no idea that Helena looked down on people who did manual labor. And when she finds out you earn $85,000 a year as a skilled welder, she gets furious. He tells Helena, that's honest work and good money. What's wrong with you? Then someone mentions that you helped her financially for years. And that's when Tomas explodes. She begins to question her family's behavior. She accuses them of excluding her from the wedding, of taking advantage of her, of being more interested in appearances than in family ties. Helena tries to justify herself by saying she only wanted to maintain a certain image, and Tomas responds by asking what kind of person puts image above family. Did all that really happen? I asked incredulously. Yes. Then Tomas tells her he needs some air and they go outside to talk privately. They argued loudly. Everyone inside could hear. 20 minutes later, he returns alone and says that he and Helena need time to think and that the reception is over. And Helena returned crying. Tomas's family began to pack their things. Half of the guests left in less than an hour. Everything fell apart. Helena was left there, amidst what was left of her wedding, while you were in Costa Rica enjoying life. But she cancelled the wedding altogether. Not that night, but Tomas went to live with his parents and hasn't been back home since. Helena calls him all the time, but he doesn't answer. The rest of my trip was perfect. I did everything. Deep sea fishing, jungle trekking, surfing lessons, daily spa treatments, helicopter rides. I ate at restaurants whose names I couldn't even pronounce and learned to appreciate wines that cost more than a whole month's worth of shopping. But the best part was Danny's daily reports on the disaster. Day 2, Tomas officially cancels the engagement and asks Helena to move out. Day 3, Tomas's family tells everyone why the wedding fell through. Helena's reputation in Denver begins to crumble. On day 4, Helena launches a GoFundMe titled "Help Me Rebuild My Life After the Wedding Disaster" and raises $30. A measly $30. On day 5, Helena posted an Instagram story talking about the hard lessons she was learning and what truly matters in life. The comments were brutal. She was torn apart for excluding her own brother. And the real breakdown came on day 6. I was getting a massage on the beach when my phone started ringing non-stop. I'd been ignoring the calls all week. But the voicemails wouldn't stop, and with each new attempt, the tone became more desperate. Helena's voice, between sobs, pleaded. "Please, answer me. I know I made a huge mistake. Tomas doesn't speak to me anymore, his family hates me, I've lost everything. I need you, I really do. You're like an older brother to me, I don't know who else to turn to." Then came the message from my mother, Claudia, completely distraught. "This is getting out of hand. People are talking about our family on social media, this is a scandal. You have to come back and help us fix everything before it gets worse." But the one that really hit me was another message from Helena. "I'm going to lose Mom's apartment. I can't pay the rent without Tomas, and she can't cover it on her own. I have nowhere to go. I have no money. Please, you're the only one who can help me." Now they really needed me. Now they seemed to care. I was on my 10th day of vacation, lounging by the infinity pool at the resort in Costa Rica, when I received a call from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Thank God. Helena started crying as soon as she heard my voice. "I've been trying to talk to you for over a week. I need you to listen to me." "What's wrong, Helena?" I answered calmly, as if nothing had happened. "I ruined everything. Tomas dumped me. My family wants nothing to do with me. I lost my apartment. I have no money and no friends. I'm sleeping on Mom's couch. I don't know what to do." I took a sip of coconut water and answered calmly. "It sounds difficult. I know I hurt you. I know it was wrong to leave you out of the wedding. I just wanted to fit in with Tomas's family. I thought if I could be perfect. And how did that go for you?" The silence on the other end was filled with her tears. "Please," she whispered. "I don't deserve it, but I need help. I need money for rent, for food, for gas. I have no one else." "Tell me, Helena," I said coldly, "do you remember what you said to Tomas's family about your unrefined, working-class brother?" "I didn't mean it. And the $8,000 you've owed me for years and never tried to pay back? I was going to pay you back after the wedding, with the gift money. And do you remember when you told Mom I wasn't sophisticated enough to attend your wedding?" Now I was crying even harder. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I was wrong about everything. I was selfish, blind. I hurt the only person who was always there for me. You made it clear that I had no place in your life. So tell me, why should I help you now?" "Because you're my brother, because family supports each other, no matter what." I let out a sarcastic laugh. "Family that supports each other? How curious, because what you did was the complete opposite by leaving me out of the most important day of your life." "Please," he begged. "I'll do anything. I'll pay you back every penny. I will apologize publicly. I will kneel if necessary. You had your chance, Elena. You chose to be ashamed of me. Now live with that decision. But I have nowhere to go, I have no money. I haven't had a decent meal in 3 days. It sounds like a personal problem. Maybe you could ask one of those sophisticated friends of yours for help. I have no friends. Tomas told them everything, and now nobody wants to talk to me. What a surprise. Who would have thought actions have consequences? You can't just abandon me. I'm your sister, and you decided that didn't matter when it suited you. You made your bed, Elena. Now it's your turn to sleep in it. And what am I supposed to do? I don't know. Maybe look for a job. They say restaurants are always hiring. You could start learning what honest work is. Are you really going to leave me empty-handed? I'm not leaving you with nothing. I'm leaving you with exactly what I'm worth to you. Nothing. I hung up. I blocked her number. I also blocked Mom's. And I spent the rest of my vacation in absolute peace. When I got back, I learned that Elena had lost Claudia's apartment. She was living in her car in a Walmart parking lot and had gotten a job at a retail store for $11 an hour. Apparently, when you're 26 and have zero work experience, opportunities don't exactly fall into your lap. After pleading in several interviews, a manager gave him a chance. Meanwhile, Tomas had already moved on with a new partner, a teacher who valued that her boyfriend came from a hardworking and principled family. He posted photos with her and her family, writing things like, "I found someone who shares my values of loyalty and respect." I, for my part, used what was left of my savings to make a down payment on a house with a double garage and space for my personal workshop. I started dating an amazing woman named Raquel, who loves the fact that I work with my hands and build things that last. 6 months later, my life is better than ever. I got a promotion, my relationship is wonderful, and I've never felt more at peace. The last I heard, she was still in retail, paying more than half her salary in a small studio. She lost all her followers when the wedding scandal went viral, and now, apparently, she's in therapy to work on herself. Claudia tried to contact me through other family members, but I was clear, I'm out. Blood doesn't define a family. Respect does. And I'd rather have no family than one that doesn't respect me. The $12,000 I spent on that vacation was the best investment I've ever made. Because sometimes, the best way to get revenge is to show them exactly what they lost when they decided you weren't worth it.